waiting for this question. Mr. Hunter, I read your book. It goes on a little bit much at times. You are pretty self-important at times, and you sure are opinionated, but I got a lot of good stuff out of it. Thanks. But then I got to this stuff where you're writing about the meaning of life, your thoughts about religion. For God's sakes, you wrote your own history of the world. What's going on? That's a good question. Part of me was driven to live the life I live. What's that mean? A beautiful wife, a life partner, not being lonely, having stability, having children, having grandchildren. And guess what? In spite of all the mistakes I made along the way, I got all those things. There's another person whose Aunt Lib gave him, and maybe it was Clary. Clary, I'm sorry if I'm giving Lib credit, but she was the one who was the charter member of the Brooks Bird Club while coping with a profoundly serious illness of schizophrenia before most people had a clue what that was. So while she heard her voices, she also listened to the birds. And she also shared with me her love of nature. And when I got that book on natural history, and I learned about little one-celled creatures turning into bigger creatures that swam in the seas, crawled out of the seas, got big teeth, got killed in huge earthquakes and floods and asteroid crashes that eventually left little marsupial-sized, little mouse-sized critters that evolved into us, that was absolutely unbelievable. And when I listened to the radio and I heard that there were things out there in outer space called asteroid belts, and I pictured a great big belt with a buckle going around the Earth. It's not all that different from that, except it's around the sun, and there's no buckle that we've discovered yet. And when I learned the incredible distances, light years, and I learned that Albert Einstein figured out that as you approach the speed of light, time slows down almost to nothing. And at the right speeds, you could leave and come back and meet your great-grandchildren as old people. And when I learned that this table over here, excuse me, don't touch your face, when I learned that that table isn't really there, that on a microscopic and atomic and subatomic level, it's governed by a whole new system called quantum physics, or that the vast majority of energy and matter in the world is dark and we can't see it, and that there are great big holes out there that suck matter into them that are called dark holes, it absolutely blew my mind. So I spent my lifetime listening to radio shows and movies, watching movies, trying to ignore grandfather's clocks and other things that left for me a great curiosity about the world and why it's here. And as a cradle Methodist, getting a concurrent picture of the world with supernatural beings flying around, angels who don't seem to be able to reproduce and don't do much but stand there and do the bidding of a God that we never get to see. And I've heard that a minister put 500 people together in a church knowing they were exposing one another to the COVID-19 virus, probably killing some of his parishioners because of his faith in God. I realized that the world could be insane and that learning rational thought, learning clarity of thought, and applying those things to what I do as in my day-to-day job could be helpful. And then I decided I wanted to share that stuff. There's also philosophy and history and biography and novels, brilliant novels that give insights into people's lives and into things that people have seen and imagined. It's absolutely remarkable. And I have fit that into my life, having that curiosity. I'm happy to share it with you. And if you've got it figured out, you tell me. because I'm still singing in the choir. I'm still singing to Jesus. I just happen to think what Jesus taught about not judging other people and treating all people honorably, even prostitutes and gay people, and having as many people get married as possible because we don't have enough people getting married right now. I believe all those things. So socially, yeah, I probably now fit the category of liberal. And when you need to spend money so people don't go bankrupt and people don't starve to death and people don't kill themselves out of despair, yeah, we probably have to do a little deficit spending. So that's a little bit about me as a person, but I care about you as my client. I care about you as my client more than I care about the money you're going to get me. But let me show you my analogy here. You're here. We're here. Our ability to make money and stay viable is important to me. And guess what? Your children are here. Maybe even here. So you screw up repeatedly and you act against what's best for your children, you're right. Bird Hunter will probably let you go on with somebody else because I won't help you hurt your children. And you're going to hear it from me, what I think is the right thing, and then I'll listen to you. If you convince me that my insights are a little weak, or that you've got better instincts, or you've simply got a viable argument for what you want to do, I'm your guy. So this one is my longest video, 7 minutes, but I thought that subject, the whole meaning of the life in the world and where we came from. Oh, one thing, I don't know what happened the moment before the Big Bang, and I don't know what's going to happen the day after the end of time, but I'm working on it.